I was a junior in college when Michael Brown was shot in Ferguson. I remember sitting with a friend in our dining hall shortly after a grand jury failed to indict the officer who shot him. With the smell of mustard greens and pizza wafting over us, I remember sitting there in my anger, unmoving. You see, I first heard Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech in 4th grade. But that same year, I learned Albert Einstein was just 26 when he discovered his theory of special relativity. So I decided to follow Einstein's path. I'm the son of Chinese immigrants. My parents were here in the audience. Both of them studied physics in college, so it was the expected track for me to take. I always wanted to do good for the world. And as a kid, I thought I could do that by helping uncover the mysteries of the universe. But in college, as I studied multivariable calculus, I also started to learn about the world beyond my bubble. I learned that Shell planned to drill for oil off the coast of Alaska. I learned that my classmates were often too scared to report sexual assaults on my own campus. I learned that black teenagers were dying in the streets at a horrifying rate in my hometown of Chicago. And I wondered, who was I to look to the stars while people around me suffered? In the dining hall the day Mike Brown's shooter walked free, an alert popped up on my phone. The Asian American Student Collective was organizing a rally in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, and it was happening right then. I looked at my friend. "Let's go," I said. About 20 of us stood in a circle in the main quad, facing outward, as the December wind whipped through us. I held a hastily written cardboard sign and wore my best look of grim determination. And in that moment, my anger turned to power and to purpose. I will always carry with me the genius of Albert Einstein, but today it is Dr. King's dream that feeds the fire in my heart. Now, you all may be wondering why I'm telling you a story about police brutality at an event for environmental leadership. It's because whether we are tackling climate change or fighting to end racism, we are ultimately striving together for the same thing, for justice. As the fires in California rage on, and as millions still lack water, clean water in Puerto Rico, I've been asking myself what it means to fight for justice in the face of such overwhelming odds. And in this time, I remind myself this: if nothing else, justice means ensuring everyone has the right to lead their life with dignity and in thriving community with each other. In Washington, D.C., we've brought together a diverse coalition of climate organizers, indigenous leaders, affordable housing advocates, and more to fight for just that, for a better life for our families and our neighbors. 3 weeks ago, we organized a community fair at a space we call the Uptown Art House. The building is stripped to the rusted pipes and concrete floor, but the walls are covered with vibrant works of art that give image to the beautiful heart of our city and our movements. And we had enough Mediterranean food on hand for a music festival. Just a few months ago, that building was abandoned and our campaign did not exist. Yet on that sweltering Sunday afternoon, 15 local groups came to talk about their work, and more than 200 local residents showed up to hear about our visions for a more just and equitable DC. In these tough times, it is easy to lose ourselves in the vastness of the task we face. That's why I believe it's so important for us to remain anchored in community, in the lived experiences of ourselves and of the people with whom we fight. I'll be joining Deneen and 13 other young leaders at the UN Climate Conference next month, continuing my work on an international scale. But wherever this work takes me, whether in DC or here in California or on to Germany, I will always carry with me the powerful and, yes, radical hope of the change that we are building from the ground up in the places that we call home. I want to thank my mom and dad. I want to thank my brother Alan, my fellow organizers and friends in DC and Chicago and here in the Bay. Thank you to Earth Island and the Broward Youth Awards, and lastly, a thank you to all of you for being here and for fighting this fight.